Okay.
Oh.
Okay. My name is Jonathan Jimenez. How many of you are familiar with Proposition 215 here in California? Well, Proposition 215 states that it allows doctors to prescribe medicinal marijuana to people who they feel need it, and they just need to obtain a prescription from a doctor, and then they get a card and they're able to purchase medical marijuana at dispensaries throughout the state of California. Most of these patients are ordinary people like you or me who suffer from nausea or headaches, or women with menstrual cramps, and other patients suffer from AIDS and cancer and need it for chemotherapy, the effects of chemotherapy. They need it for that. In the Netherlands, Amsterdam's marijuana is legal in Amsterdam by the de facto law, means it's legal by practice. So why can't we have it legal here if they have it legal there? Our model, the Prop 215 model, kind of works as a model to show that it can be legal and that it is regulated. So why does the government continue to spend money on punishing people and on all these anti-marijuana laws and stuff like that? So my proposition is prohibition laws towards marijuana have failed. Prohibition laws are costly. We spend roughly about $10 to $15 billion a year just in trying to enforce these laws. That's punishing criminals and ads and treatment programs and all that. 700,000 people are arrested a year for marijuana possession. Most of those people are first-time offenders, have no criminal history, and it's simply for a minor possession. It costs $25,000 a year to incarcerate a marijuana user. So you have $25,000 times 700,000 people who are arrested a year. That's a lot of money. According to Ethan Nadelman, founder and director of Drug Policy Alliance, he says marijuana prohibition is costly, just like alcohol prohibition in the 1920s. Alcohol prohibition may seem more rational than marijuana prohibition, but even that wasn't successful back then. Federal laws prohibiting marijuana harms medical patients. It prevents them access from marijuana, even though Proposition 215 in California says that they are able to receive medicinal use of marijuana. The federal government is still intervening with the state laws. Patients get punished like criminals, and medical marijuana, just in alternatives to medical marijuana, doctors can prescribe other pharmaceuticals that are harmful, such as Ritalin, Adderall, and OxyContin. Eric A. Voss, the chairman of the Institute on Global Drug Policy, says that marijuana is restricted for medical use because it's addictive and harmful. To say that medical marijuana is addictive and harmful is like saying junk food is harmful because it causes obesity, and we should restrict junk food. It's just not going to happen. So, and according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, it says long-term marijuana use can lead to addiction for some people, but it's usually compulsive. So it's not an addiction; it's more of a compulsive, like disorder, like OCD, kind of. But there are other harmful OCDs, obsessive compulsive disorders out there, like eating disorders and gambling, which is more harmful probably than just marijuana use. Anti-marijuana ads and treatment programs are ineffective. Studies show that marijuana use among youth increased with the emergence of anti-drug ads on TV in the early 1990s. You see more drugs on TV and anti-ads than you do in CSI and shows like that. Treatments for marijuana users, like the treatment programs, they usually take about 2 sessions. You just go to about 2 sessions and you're done. So if it was that addictive and that harmful, then you wouldn't need to go to 2 sessions. Obviously, it's not that bad. And lastly, prohibition laws punish marijuana users too harshly. For those of you receiving financial aid, if you're caught with like possession of marijuana, your financial aid can be forfeited. So, like, how are we supposed to help our students in that way? An example of Tommy Chong, if you guys all know Tommy Chong, Judy Chong. In February of 2003, his business was raided by DEA agents, and he has a business of pipes and bombs and stuff like that. And they took away $120,000 in his proceeds and fined him $20,000 and sentenced him to 9 months in prison. And they didn't find not a single gram of marijuana on him, just for selling drug paraphernalia. So what I'm trying to say is, offenders today, they're not just like drug offenders back how they were in the 60s. Most of them are law-abiding citizens, just like you and I, who just happen to smoke marijuana. So our legislators and politicians aren't healthcare professionals, so maybe we should leave with a law on marijuana to those who want the medical and have PhDs.